That doesn't sound quite... That doesn't sound...
It was both dream...
If we're talking about a true culprit, that could
The truth, the original sin...
That was way too close! How did that thing just burst into the Opera House? Wait, was that the huge whale you saw in your dream?
So we've met it at last. I understand That whale does not belong to Teyvat. It is It has been greedily consuming the energy from the planet's primordial sea, and once it has finished consuming all...
You said that when the Hydro Archon first created Fontanians out of
Precisely. That whale finds the blood of... Therefore, when it left the primordial sea, it decided...
We just barely managed to push it back, right?
That is correct. Indeed, it is more accurate to say that we should thank that Harbinger for buying us some time. From the way he looked, he must have been fighting the creature...
That battle maniac. We've always known that he had a special connection with that whale, but Anyway, now that we know that this whale is the actual cause of the disaster recorded in the prophecy...
It is too late. It had already absorbed too much of the primordial sea's energy before we could notice it. Even if the entirety of Teyvat were to be destroyed, it could...
We've already done everything we can. We've come so far.
Indeed. I'll fight it to the end.
So the prophecy will be fulfilled no matter what, huh?
The prophecy. Yes, what has been prophesied will be fulfilled. Just as prophecies are usually only the future as seen from the perspectives of the gods, ultimately, fate shall serve as your only guide, no matter what will happen in Teyvat's future.
What's happening with the Oratrice?
I believe it is preparing to carry out the death sentence.
Marina!
No, I still need answers.
You...
Sorry. That shocked expression on your face is just too amusing.
You are not Farina.
The sweet sound of bewilderment. Marvelous. A sure sign that my attempt to deceive everyone was a resounding success.
Focalor.
Oh, that wasn't my goal, of course. Goodness, no. But I had to fool everyone else too. The heavenly principles.
Deceiving the heavenly principles.
It's all because of that pernicious prophecy. Dreadful, wasn't it? Everyone doomed to dissolve. One was not amused. In fact, one was positively bemused when that problem was thrust upon me by my dearest predecessor. That's the former Hydro Archon Egeria, for the uninitiated. It hardly gets more disastrous than a preordained national catastrophe, now does it? She knew full well that and as one of the seven, she also knew full well that one defies the heavenly principles at one's peril. So yes, as you have no doubt surmised, it was a rather impossible situation that I found myself in. I spent a terribly long time mulling it over, alone on the ocean floor. And I was almost growing barnacles by the time I finally realized I had to outwit the heavenly principles. I'm a genius, I know. I can only assume that's why Egeria chose me as her successor. Although, looking back now, it was hardly the inheritance one dreams of. Between the task of saving the nation, the quotidian duties of the Hydro Archon, and not to mention the original sin of creating a new race of humans. But one can only play the hand one is dealt. I did not choose this, any more than I chose to be one of her Oceanid familiars.
So you were also once one of the Oceanids?
Yes, I was. I always dreamed of becoming human. And I still do, even now. After becoming a god, I separated my divinity from my body and spirit, leaving behind only a self that was as naive and bewildered as my past self on her The me you see before you now is that divinity. She could feel joy, sorrow, and everything in between. Her strengths were of a kind only a human could possess. But in my eyes, Farina's humanity was what made her perfect. She was perfectly human in every way. The person I always wanted to be. Anyway, so then I cursed her. All part of the plan, of course. Do you still remember the final scene of the prophecy? In order that the prophecy might appear fulfilled, I invited Farina to be an actress under the curse I placed on her. So long as I, Focalor's divinity, continued to exist, she could not die. But instead, she was forced to take the stage in the opera house, to embrace the role of leading lady. I suppose now you probably understand why your court is called the Opera Epiclese.
But Farina is only even though she has had a long life, her mind is no stronger than that. I cannot begin to fathom what she has had to.
It has indeed. And although she is, it's been 5, and all along, she's been playing her part in the most unimaginably long, unbearably lonely. So, who permitted you to come onto this stage? All right. It is not my intent to reprimand you. There is no need to state your name. Just be off with you. Do not distract me from my performance. Oh, do not jest. Can you not feel it? I am Focalor. The eyes of countless Fontanians are upon me. I must, at all times, display the utmost elegance and nobility. Dear audience, the performance is experiencing a technical difficulty, but worry not. The guards shall resolve it soon enough.
You asked for it.
Hey, what gives? The audience is still watching me, you know. Guards? Wait, where are the guards? Guards!
Stay put!
Look alive!
Farina. Huh? Who's that? Who's calling me? Be not nervous. Be not afraid. Wait a moment. You're mirror me? Mirror you. Mirror me. The prophecy. What prophecy? The people will all be dissolved into the waters. Oh. What's going on? I can't... Yes, it will. And that is why I've come to you. But doesn't that mean... Oh, don't worry. I will tell you how to save everyone. But
As for the suffering, well, but if the prophecy will come, if there were scales.
I suppose this would also be the justice that... Don't worry, it's nothing. Listen well. Fontaine has just lost its Hydro Archon. That's right. You must begin if you can keep it up, then I shall have my way of...
But how will I do that?
Don't worry. What you must do is not to... Being a human yourself, I'm sure you already know what remember. Your true challenge will not be...
So, how long?
To accomplish this mission, you will have to stay on... But I promise you...
A trial. Huh. The Maison Cardinalise has announced my accession. What should I say to most appear like a god? Lady, I'm sure you've all heard about how I have taken on the role of Hydro Archon. In truth, I know little about becoming a nation's new god. As the god Focalor, the god once again. Thank you all for this. I thought I might stammer, but
That's the new Hydro Archon. Is this some kind of joke by the Maison? I would have thought that a being that surpasses...
Hey, did you hear that? She even told us to send her suggestions.
Shouldn't gods be all-powerful? She's being so modest.
If you ask me, perhaps the succession didn't actually happen.
Wait, what's going on? Wyatt right. Mirmi sat calm down, Farina. Assertive, with a strong sense of presence. Now, I was wondering if some weak puppet were... Well, it seems that you would all see right through them. You may consider my previous act a door gift of sorts. Now then...
So that was just a performance. How could I have forgotten that we were in...
Personality? It's quite shocking, to be honest, but I suppose it's a better look than before.
Such a fascinating and bold deity. How wonderful. Our future may yet be bright after all.
It seems I've turned them around. My dear people, whether you acknowledge me or not, whether you trust me or nay, I say to you, we have heard it said that this nation's sins can no longer be washed away. Well, the scales of justice, may law be the prayer on our lips, may judgment be our worship. Let us, there is no trouble, so long as I...
Lady Farina, here are today's case reports as well as...
Come now, was I not just besides, none of the...
if I may be so
A magnificent, dramatic, and wondrous trial.
That's true, I fear I lack the...
No need for fright, and do not take what I said before too seriously. Go now.
Lady Farina, I don't know what to say.
No need to thank. All right. Deuteria, is it?
He's doing much better now. You're such a gentle and wise god.
Lady Farina, here are the latest.
I see. It's as I thought then. All manner of.
Well,
Really?
I'm.
The day is finally over, but it's good to see that everything's getting on track. Maybe this is fine.
Lady Farina, here are the new trial reports for the latest case.
There'll be no need for that.
Lady Farina, I've...
Indeed, my dear.
Lady Farina, we're detecting significant hydrological anomaly.
Understood. Keep monitoring. I feel utterly...
Lady Farina, I've heard that the first member of our family who was honored to receive an audience with...
And what a fine family yours is, isn't it? What?
Are you crying?
This must be the overflow of hydro from my person. Well, can't quite help being the god.
No wonder. No wonder.
So interminable. Hundreds of years must have passed by now. I never imagined have I reached my limit. I want to tell someone. I've conducted so many investigations. All I can do is keep heart.
Farina, you don't have to shoulder this burden alone, although I don't know what you might be keeping from everyone. Your people are more than willing to share your burden with you.
Share. That's impossible.
But even if your burden doesn't need to be shared, you can still choose to confide in someone. Just share it with me.
A witness. Yes, I've heard that you came to Tevat from beyond the stars, yes. And if Tevat is in its entirety... She's right. I could confide in her, couldn't I? But if things don't play out as No, Farina, you shouldn't be selfish. But what if it's really all right? Farina, you've worked so hard for so long. Is it such an outrageous thing to do anyway? To find someone in whom you can if you let let this opportunity slip through your fingers. Think about it. Long and hard. No, I have nothing to say. All you need to do, dear spectator, is to witness...
Fine.
So even Farina doesn't know the truth? You've never once let her in on the full plan?
Yes, it had to be done. She did very well. If she had let her resolve falter, it seems that trusting
I believe that I understand how your deception works. How would you build on this foundation to save the people of Fontaine?
Ah, good. Of course, the Iudex of Fontaine has pinpointed the crux of the issue. I'm sure you've long sensed that the Oratrice is
I've always suspected that it had its own consciousness. And Linny did mention that he heard a human voice within the core chamber. It now seems that that person was you.
And then I became one with the Oratrice, taking Fontaine's gnosis with me. Yes, alas, your understanding of the... In truth, it is no enactor of justice. Oh, you have it. And to be more precise, not only will the I mean, did you think I would be my work over these last 500 years? But really, some have already discovered that only a small fraction of the vast majority had to be accumulated.
It was all a part of your plan.
Indeed. This power, accrued over 5 centuries, could have sustained Fontainians for millennia had it only been used for that purpose. But only power of...
So the Oratrice's call for death was for neither Farina nor Focalor. The destruction of that divine throne. If I do not misunderstand...
Returning what's rightfully yours to... In other words, this was all done to return the authority of the Hydro...
But...
Oh, what? The authority of the ancient dragons shall soon be yours.
All you've done throughout the years is...
I've never quite seen it that way, you know. Hydro Dragon. I must say, had it been within my rights, I would have loved to... Egeria stole the power of the primordial sea. And I, for my part, am the god of justice. Speaking of justice, I have always believed that So, if the theft of the primordial sea's might was Fontaine's original sin, then, leaving matters of procedural right and wrong aside, the descent of the Fontainians, in other words, defying the prophecy and ensuring that Fontaine's people shall live on. At this point, Iudex Neuvillette, the highest judge in our land.
So when I was invited to the court of Fontaine to serve as Iudex, at last, in the beginning, I was uninterested in human existence. But these 5 centuries of living, you are a deep... Things being as they are, surely you know that I could never declare them.
The hour of my execution is almost here. For the sinner, the curtain call has come. I know I may not sound it, but faced with death, I find myself a little afraid. Perhaps this is one thing both gods and humans have in common. Farewell, Neuvillette. I hope you've enjoyed the part you played these 500 years.
I, Eudex Nuvelet, hereby declare, people of Fontaine, your sins are forgiven.
What just happened?
Was that bright light some sort of misdirection?
But since we're all still alive and haven't been to—
It's time to end this. We must—
Didn't you say just a moment ago?
I have gained the strength sufficient to deal with it. Through certain means, we should seize the opportunity to pursue our quarry, Traveler. Now that the oratories can no longer function, I require an executor at the root of the calamities befalling Fontaine. The beast that enacts— Come with me, Traveler. The hour of execution. I've already done my best to separate the power of the primordial sea from the whale. Considering the size of the beast, I cannot reach the power source. Unless we can find a way to attack it from within. We shall share a part of the ancient dragon's power. We shall look for an opening together. Turning into hostility. The all-devouring narwhal cannot resist its instinct to devour. Continue to trigger its hostility. A chance will present itself. I have granted you my protection. Do not fear. Seize the moment and use my power to suppress its root from within.
Allow me! Don't be scared! Walk alive!
Let's move out. Let's move out.
To ashes! Look alive! Yeah!
Thanks for helping with the cleanup. It should have been my job, but... oh well. It was just supposed to be a short private training session for me. I didn't think that my well, actually, I had a feeling that it would happen at some point.
That power.
Paimon has an idea. It's just that he gave us the impression that she was
I simply did not have anything to say to the weak. But you... so you may speak to me as equals. I have to agree. It's a strange use of a planet's primordial waters just to... that kind of power is wasted on it. It's not cooperative. It eats too much. And I have more important things to do with my time than pet sitting. The only thing that creature has going for it is its looks. All in all...
Miss Skirk?
the point...
Well, being that this pet... So what sort of person is your master? Well...
oh, right. So his name is Sir Delogi.
I am unfamiliar.
Huh. So Master is insufficiently famous.
The foul.
Still nothing? Well...
Ooh, that one we've heard! Rheindochter's part of the Hexen Circle. She's obeyed us...
oh, so you do know that name. To be honest, but I suppose you understand now, yes? My master is likely a similar sort to Rheindochter. They're both
Wait! Didn't you also mention a vision?
Actually, never mind that. I believe that the all-devouring narwhal used up nearly all its strength fighting you. Such roiling hydro energies will prove difficult for the planet's deep seas to As such, the Fontaine back on the surface has most likely been thrown into chaos. In other words, the prophecy that you've been...
What?
Not to worry. Focalor has already...
In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only Farina will remain, weeping on her throne. Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away.
Hey! Help! Over here!
Advance, initiate emergency rescue! Hurry!
Hey, lend a hand!
Look! The water's receding!
It's a miracle!
Water's receding.
We didn't dissolve. The prophecy was wrong. The prophecy was wrong.
Are you alright?
We're saved.
The prophecy was wrong.
The soil renewed. The Suite de Rasula talks post-disaster rebuilding. I recently visited Poisson to meet with Miss Navia, spokesperson of the Suite de Rasula, and we spoke about Poisson's present and future. Old soil can still give birth to new bloom, Miss Navia stated. Hope is like seeing a small cookie when you're starving late at night. You just need a little of it. Skyship Winglet, lunar brain of the Fontaine Research Institute. The various disputes that have arisen on account of Mr. Edwin have suddenly become a shield over the Institute, with Jurier turning out to be a once overlooked hidden gem. People always call the first researcher mad, but few know what to call the second. And should that latter person achieve a miracle, they would find it all the harder to find a word with which to classify him and his team. Wow! Paimon barely recognizes the people in the reports. Are those really Jurier and Navia? They sound like real big shots.
What do you think? Pretty enthralling, huh? The Steambird's idea was pretty simple. With the disaster just having passed, we would print a free edition packed to the margins with good news to calm people down. The value for these big scoops lies in their inevitable follow-ups. We'll publish further reports and go into the stories behind those people. Edwin's assistant, Jurier, created a true flying ship, while Navia is leading people in the reconstruction of their home. I'm sure that these stories could draw even your well-traveled eye.
Paimon's curious too! Wait a minute. Didn't we watch everything happen from start to finish? What's there to be curious about?
And that's exactly why I'd like you to come conduct interviews with me. You're the best incubators of news, if you haven't noticed. And also, with you around, I'm sure I'll get to see that Duke.
Are you sure? Hasn't he turned you down several times already?
Oh, this time will be different. Come on, let's head to Poisson first, and then make a trip to the fortress. There are some things you'll only know when you get there.